What's up? It's Marco back in on the Sage of Soccer channel. Today I'm going to be going through match week 8 of the Premier League. I'm going to be going through all the games as they're going to happen in chronological order. If you want to get to a game, timestamps are in the description. But for now, let's just jump into it. We're going to start off with the first game that's actually happening in like 50 minutes. Brighton against Burnley. So I kind of had to redo this prediction because took a look at the lineup and it was not what I expected. But so for Brighton, I think the things that I still want to stick with is they need to get chances from their wing backs. I was hoping Sully March would be a part of it, but something's up with him. So it's going to be Tyreek Lamptey. They're going to have to get a lot from him today. I think that he's been really creative. You really want to get chances from him because this is a Burnley team that's really going to try to stifle the midfield. Also, in the midfield, you want to show your creativity. They're going with a midfield four today. Lallana, Gross, Ben White, they're all in there. They're going to have to do well. This is a tough Burnley midfield to get through. You're going to have to be able to work through and get with that. Then I really think they need to take their chances. You're going to look up there. You got Danny Welbeck and Neil Mpai. Both of them haven't exactly been clinical recently. I'm not exactly that confident in them. So whoever gets a chance, they're going to have to take it. And lastly, I think they really need to deal with balls that are coming into the box. It's going to be a tough ask to deal with Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood up top, but they're going to have to deal with that and make sure you don't give Brighton any easy chances off of those. Next for Burnley, I think that the biggest thing is they need to get good performances out of their star players. Tarkowski and Nick Pope really haven't been that great this year, and I don't think you can put the blame solely on them, but they haven't been as good as they had been previous seasons, and I think they really need to step up in these games because Burnley have not been playing too well. You're going to need a star player to help get you out of that. Next, their strikers need to take their chances. Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, they haven't been good this year. They haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net, and it's honestly been hurting Burnley because they're getting chances and they're just not converting them. They need to make it work. They need to find a way to get those goals. That's all you can really say about them. Lastly, I think their midfield, just work hard. Make sure you don't allow Brighton to really dominate the game. I think Brighton's going to have a lot of the possession. That's a given. And honestly, Burnley aren't even that good on the counter. But just make sure you're able to work hard. Don't give away any easy chances. And maybe something good can come of this game. So for this, I think that the two most likely results are a Brighton win or a draw. I think Brighton are going to win. Their form recently has me question that a little bit, but I think they're going to be able to get a goal through this game, and I really don't see Burnley able to break through and score, so I'm predicting a Brighton win. So for the next game, we got Southampton against Newcastle, and Southampton are going to begin this pretty long stretch of the season without Danny Ings. He might be out until 2021, and they're going to need to be able to replace him. I think that's going to be pretty tough because he's been really creative this year as well as how clinical he's been. I think the main guys that's going to come down to are Shea Adams and James Ward-Prowse. Prowse has already been pretty good this year, but he's going to have to step up creatively and really make a lot of those chances for Southampton because they're going to be missing that. Then Adams, he's been on pretty good form for a while now. Keep that up. Keep getting some goals. Keep Southampton in contention for Europe. Keep them in the top half. You got to do all that while Danny Ings is out. Next, I think that they're really going to have to press Newcastle a lot because you haven't really seen this too much out of Southampton, but you know this is a thing that they love to do. I think with it's probably going to be Shane Long up top. They're going to have a lot of energy in their forwards. I think that if they're able to press this Newcastle team, force them into a mistake, it could really lead to their goals. And lastly, just keep up the form defensively. It seems like they finally settled on a lineup defensively with Bednarik and Vestergaard back there. Just keep working well together. They've had a pretty... it's been pretty mixed defensively for them, but just keep it up, do what you've been doing, and hopefully they can come away with the result. So for Newcastle, I think the biggest thing for them is I really want to see multiple players play well. And it's tough to explain what I mean by this, but last week you had like a Callum Wilson game where he was a great performer, led them to a win. The week before you had a Jacob, I'm remembering this time, Murphy game where he was having his game. Before that, it's been St. Maximin. You've had a Jeff Hendricks game. But I don't think there's really been a game where everybody on the team has played well and everybody has really looked like they're all on the same page going for this win. I think the key for them to win is get a performance from a Wilson, from a St. Maximin, from an Almiron, from a Murphy. Just everybody be on it today. And just have multiple players really play well. Next, I think defensively they need to really watch out for the long ball. As I mentioned, it looks like it's going to be Shea Adams and Shane Long. Both of them are pretty athletic players, a lot of pace in there. The ball in behind could be on, especially with guys like Ward-Prowse in there who can really thread through those passes. So that's going to be something to watch out for Newcastle. And lastly, don't give away stupid fouls, because James Ward-Prowse is really on it right now with his free kicks. Make sure you don't give him that opportunity. So for this game, with Southampton missing Ings and me not being too sure about Newcastle yet, I think this is a game that I feel like could really be a draw. And that's what I'm going to be going with my prediction. So next we've got a pretty big game when we have Manchester United against Everton. And, geez, this is going to be a tough one for both teams. So for Manchester United, I think the biggest thing for them is defensively, and not just their back four, you've got to have everybody switched on, because you're going to have to deal with James Rodriguez, and he's been on fire this year. You're going to have to watch out for him, make sure you don't let him give any easy chances, because he's been very good. Maybe it's going to be somebody like Matic or McTominay trying to mark him out the game. It's going to be very tough. And if he's operating on that left side and he has to go against Luke Shaw, then James might be able to really run wild on this Manchester United team. Next, I think this is kind of explanatory, but don't make stupid mistakes defensively, because there's been a lot this year, whether it was Pogba giving that penalty away, Maguire and Luke Shaw making a lot of mistakes. Make sure you don't limit the mistakes. Play a really focused game. And honestly, I think Solskjaer is going to have this team really focused, because if he loses this game, he might lose his job. I mean, after that loss to the Champions League, his form hasn't been that good. I think Manchester United's in 15th right now. Obviously, they have that game in hand, and it's really early on in the season, but it's not looking that good for them. I know they wanted to bring Pochettino in, so they got to be switched on. And lastly, take their chances on the break. I get the feeling that it's going to be a game dominated by Everton in possession, and maybe not dominated, because it's tough to say, because you really haven't seen Donny van de Beek get a really big run out for Manchester United, and it looks like he's going to be the starter. But there's a good chance that Everton will dominate this game possession-wise, and if that happens, they need to be able to take their chances on the break. It looks like Coleman and Digne may still be out, so make sure you're able to get those chances on the break, because you should be able to run at these backup wing backs. Michael Keane and Yerry Mina, I do like them, but they're not exactly elite defenders. I think that the break's going to be on for them, and that's how they can win this game. So for Everton, I think the biggest thing is you got to get production from your non-starters. And what I mean by that is, this is something I've been saying for a while. This Everton team, when fully fit, is amazing. They have a really good chance to qualify for Europe. But the problem is they don't really have any depth. If Richarlison's out, I have no faith in Iwobi. If James Rodriguez is out, oh, there goes the camera, then I really don't have faith in guys like Gylfi Sigurdsson to step up. They're getting a lot of chances from Lucas Digne. I'm not too sure about the ability of the other players to step up with him gone. It's going to be tough for them. I'm really not sure about how they're going to be able to deal with this, with not being at their full strength. Next main key, give Dominic Calvert-Lewin some service. I think I said this last week as well, but just give him the chance to win the game for you, because he's been clinical. He's going to be going up against a defense that isn't exactly the greatest. It could be a decent matchup between him and Maguire, because Maguire is very good in the air. But aside from that, I'm not exactly trusting Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka isn't great in the air as well. And whether it's Luke Shaw or Tejas is tough to say, but if you give Dominic Calvert-Lewin the service, I think he's going to be able to come up with a goal for them. And lastly, watch out for Marcus Rashford on the break. I did mention the break for Manchester United, but just specifically Rashford. He's been on fire this year. He's dangerous on the break. Just make sure you keep an eye out for him. Don't let him get an easy chance, because that could easily happen. So for this game, it's really tough because you don't know how Manchester United's going to line up. You're not exactly sure which Everton's going to show up. But honestly, I could see this game being a draw very easily, because United's defense is exactly great. Calvert-Lewin is on such form. Rashford should be able to get a chance on the break, and I think a draw is probably the most likely scenario for this game. Next, we've got Leeds against Crystal Palace, and this is a pretty big game for Leeds. Just keeping in that race for Europe, just make sure you stay in front of everything, and I think the keys for this game is just limit their mistakes, because against Leicester, they went down really early as Koch was really just making a couple of pretty bad mistakes, just giving the ball straight to Vardy and then letting Vardy beat him on a header. You gotta just limit the mistakes, play well, Next, play their game, because Crystal Palace is gonna want to defend, and if it's not going their way early, they might try to change up their style. I don't think they will, because Bielsa's a very good coach, but just make sure you keep playing their game, and the chances will come. And I think they're going to probably end up with 75% possession on this game. And lastly, I really want Patrick Bamford to take his chances. He's been on really good form. He didn't have the best game against Leicester. I think it's a Crystal Palace team that will really give him a chance to score, and when he does, he needs to be able to convert. So next for Crystal Palace, the key's going to be in the counterattack for them. Leeds is going to be having a lot of possession. They do attack with their fullbacks a lot. I think Crystal Palace are going to get a chance to counter. When that happens, they need to take advantage. You're going to have Wilfried Zaha up top. He's been doing really well to start this year. Get him the ball, maybe he can get them something on the break. Andros Townsend is somebody who's been in great form. If he's able to keep that up, keep getting balls to the box, keep finding himself in the right position, that could be very good for them. And Michy Batshuayi, he hasn't had a goal yet. I think he's been playing pretty well, but he needs to be able to come up with a goal this game. Next, it's something obvious for Crystal Palace, but just defend well as the team. Honestly, they defend with basically everybody except Zaha right now, but make sure you're defending well. Midfield especially, if that's McCarthy, Gyro, all of them need to really be on it, because this is a Leeds team that's going to be attacking them like crazy. And lastly, just really keep this game ugly. You really want this is a Leeds team that has been clinical. They've been just dominant possession-wise. They need to keep this game ugly. Make it all possession in the midfield. Don't let them get a lot of shots off. Just get one chance, take it, and then try not to let Leeds get another shot off. But despite all that, I think this is a Leeds win. Palace haven't been too good. Their defense has let in a lot of goals, even when defending, and I'm honestly not too sure if they'll... I think Crystal Palace will get one, but I see Leeds coming away with the win pretty easily. Next, we got Chelsea against Sheffield United, and probably the easiest game Chelsea's had in a while in the Premier League. Sheffield United, we know that they're good defensively, but they haven't been on it this year. So I think the key for Chelsea is, this is something I said last week, you need to have an attacker step up. Ziyech was able to do it last week. Hopefully it could be anybody, Werner, Havertz, Mount. One of them's going to have to step up. Just make sure you can get the goal, because they just need to get one goal. I don't trust the Sheffield team to score. Just get the goal, get the 3 points. Next, keep possession, just dominate possession the entire game. Don't even give Sheffield a spell. Because this is a Sheffield team that, unless they start Ollie Burke, they're not going to be dangerous on the break. They've been very flat, and really their only chances have come when they've really been able to keep possession. You've had somebody like a Sander Berge make something happen for them. Just keep possession, keep dominating the game, don't give them a chance. And lastly, if Sheffield does get a chance, don't give away a penalty. They've scored 2 of their 3 goals, I think, have been penalties. Just, honestly, if they get a shot on goal, just let them take it. Have faith in Mendy. don't don't risk a handball. Don't don't risk bringing somebody down. Just make sure you don't give away a stupid penalty, really. So for Sheffield, I mean, honestly, defend well. If you get a chance on the counter, take it. And I mean, that's all I can really say. They've been so bad going forward this year that the only thing you can really hope for is just defend well and maybe you can come up with a chance. I really think that if I'm them, I start Ollie Burke. He hasn't been scoring or anything, but he's at least, like, you see something when he plays. Oh, camera's back. Hi. And, like, you see something when he plays. He's able to, like, his athleticism really shows through. I think that I'd start him and McGoldrick. I think that's what I said last week. It's a tough ask for them this week, but just try to lock things down defensively. Try to get out of the counter. Oh, and I think Sander Berge is going to have a really good game if they want to get anything from it. He's been on fire lately, I think. He's a guy who needs a bigger move. I honestly think he could be great for Manchester United. Replace the aging Matic, but just he's been one of their main guys going forward and making chances, honestly defensively too, but he's going to have a really good game if they want to hope to win this. But yeah, I don't really see it for Sheffield. I've got Chelsea winning. So next we've got West Ham against Fulham, and West Ham, they are finally out of their terrible stretch of the season. They got out of it pretty well, and now they're against Fulham, but something to remember, they got crushed by Newcastle open the year. So I think a big thing for them is just mentally treat this the same way you've been treating those other games. Treat this like Man City, Tottenham, Wolves, Leicester, where you're able to get away with something from that game. Because this is a West Ham team. We've seen their potential. We know what they can do. The problem is, can they do it consistently? And also, they're missing Antonio. That's going to be pretty tough. So I think you're going to need Jared Bowens and Fornals to really step up for them. They're going to be able to get some chances. You know that. Bowen's been really getting some chances. You know that Robinson's going to be going forward on the left. I think that he's going to have something on the break. He's going to have to make that count. And Fornals, he's been making a lot of chances too. Make sure you can... I think it's going to be down to them to create a goal. Unless they get something off a set piece, which they easily could with Souček and Rice going forward. But those are the two guys I really want to look out for, Bowen and Fornals. And lastly, just keep it locked down on the back. Make sure you don't make any huge mistakes. Obviously, that's something with every team, with every game, but just keep it locked down. Try to deal well with the wide players, because you're going to have to be dealing with Lookman and I always get Costa and Calviero confused. I feel bad about that, but I think Calviero, you're going to have to watch out for them out wide. You're going to have some good games from Asuaku, and looks like it's been Focao lately on the wing back. I hope Fredericks comes back soon, because he was looking really good when he was in. But yeah, that's what West Ham I think needs to do. So for Fulham, keep playing well defensively. That's a new look back line for them has been very good. With Adebayo, he's been great for them. Aina, he's been I've really liked him going forward. Defensively, it's still trying to decide on him, but then Robinson, it's a really good defense. Just keep up the good work. Oh, Anderson, I forgot to mention him. He was looking really good for them. Just keep playing well defensively. You got Areola back there. It's a very good defense. I think going forward, I'm really looking at Lookman to create a lot of chances for them. He's been very good since coming in on loan. I'm really looking for him to really make something happen. And lastly, strong midfield performance from Fulham, because you got to deal with Declan Rice and Thomas Souček. Those are two very strong midfielders. I think that you're going to have a good game from Tom Kearney. You're going to have Angrisa. He's going to have to be playing well. It's going to be a very tough game for them. I think that the midfield is really going to have to step up if they want to come away with the win. So for this game, I feel like I keep hyping up the team that I'm predicting to lose, because I got West Ham winning this game. But yeah, I think they'll be able to win. Maybe Antonio will be coming off the bench. I'm not sure. The injury reports have been really weird, But yeah, I think they come away with the win. So next we've got Tottenham against West Brom, and just gonna throw this out there. Over under on Harry Kane and Son having 2.5 goals. Think over or under 2.5. Yeah, that's the key. Just get production from them. And aside from that, stifle Pereira. He's West Brom's main creative threat. Fulham were able to deal with him pretty well, and if you take him out the game, West Brom are really not going to be able to get chances going. And lastly, have a strong start. Tottenham have really been able to cut down on this. Like I've said before, that I felt like they had to really face adversity before they're able to really step up. I think Mourinho's knocked that out of them, which is very good, but just keep the strong start because West Brom can really come out the gate strong. You saw that against Chelsea. They had 3 goals in the first half, but yeah, just strong start, stifle Pereira, and Kane and Son are probably going to get 3 goals in the first half. So for West Brom, defensively, pray, and offensively, you're really going to, as I mentioned, Pereira, he's really going to have to try to get something going. Maybe look to use their athleticism with Diangana and Grant. Try to get in behind. It's kind of tough because their attacks really like Sheffield United, where you're like, oh, I really like Grant, I like Robinson, I like Diangana, but they're not going to go out and win you the game. Which, it's unfortunate, because they're pretty young too. They're going to get better, but probably going to get better on like Newcastle or Southampton. But, yeah, I mean, just hope Pereira can get some chances. Honestly, maybe I'd look to try to press this Tottenham team. I mean, it's not something that West Brom's particularly... Like, I don't think I've seen them do that, but maybe if you're West Brom, try to press this Tottenham team, try to force them into a mistake. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, honestly, I think that they're probably just going to end up firing Bilic and bringing in like a... I think they already brought in Tony Pulis, so they can't do that again. Maybe Sam Allardyce. They already brought in Pardew. They brought in Pulis. Steve Bruce is at Newcastle. Is Harry Redknapp still managing? I know he went to Birmingham a while ago. Yeah, maybe him. They're going to bring in... Maybe if Burnley fires Sean Dyche, I don't know. Eddie Howe? I don't know. They're going to bring somebody in after Bilic gets fired pretty soon, but it's not looking good for West Brom. I got Tottenham winning. This is a good chance this is one of those 5-0 games. So next we've got a really good game between Leicester and Wolves, and this is going to go similar to Leicester against Leeds. I think Leicester's going to be looking to counter. Wolves is going to be looking to do well in possession. So Leicester, this counter has to be on. You got to have Vardy. There's a good chance that you see Under and Barnes start this week. They haven't started together, I don't think, yet, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully Madison can start as well, because Pratt's been one of the Leicester players I haven't been that impressed with. So you're going to have Tielemans trying to thread some balls through to them. You're going to have a lot of athleticism running on this Wolves defense, and it could work pretty well, because Wolves isn't exactly the most athletic at the back. Cody doesn't have the most pace. Kilman's not... He hasn't been that tested yet, so I'm honestly not sure. From what I've seen, he doesn't seem that fast, but, when guys are playing in game, it could be completely different with, how they use their speed. Bully's should be pretty good, though, but it's going to be a tough task for that Wolves defense. For Leicester as well, you really don't want to give him in as an opening, because we've seen how dangerous he can be when he gets just that tiny bit of space. He's able to really punish teams. And I think that their biggest thing defensively is going to be how well their fullbacks can play. They're still without Pereira. They're still without Castagna. Looks like there's a good chance it ends up being Luke Thomas and Mark Albrighton, and they are really going to have to step up because Neto and Pondence, they've been very good this year, and Wolves will get a lot of chances on this Leicester team. And they're going to have to defend very well, and if Traore comes on, then they're going to be coming away with some chances. And just limit the amount of chances that you give away to this Leicester team, or to the Wolves team. That'll be the key for Leicester. So I think for Wolves, the main thing I want to see from them is just win their dribbling battles, because there are going to be a lot of chances when they're going to be able to go 1v1 on those defenders, like I mentioned. Let's see Neto, let's see Poddins, and Nori and Semedo. Those guys on the wing just really get at the defense, make Jimenez some chances. Next, don't give up the ball behind, as I mentioned. Leicester's going to be looking to counterattack. Just really be prepared for that. Don't lose sight of Vardy. Don't lose sight of Under. Make sure you're on Tielemans so he doesn't get a chance to give that pass. And it's going to be a tough game for them. Next up, make the most out of possession. There's a good chance they're going to be dominating possession this game. You have a really good defense with, or midfield, I should say, with Neves, and it looks like it's going to be Dendoncker. And make sure you make the most out of possession. Give Jimenez the chance. Give Poddins and Neto some chances. Make sure you can come away with some goals. Overall, I'm predicting a win for Leicester. It's going to be a tough game for them, but I think how good their counter has been lately, I think that they're going to be able to come away with the win. So next we've got probably the biggest game of the week. We've got Manchester City against Liverpool. And this one is going to be a very tough game. Manchester City, they have been in great form. Liverpool, their back line is completely wrecked right now. And it's going to be a tough match for both of them. For Man City, I think the main key is dominate the midfield. This is a Liverpool team that's still going to be without Thiago, and Manchester City really have the quality to just dominate possession this game. I think it's going to be a pretty big key for them. Just keep the game in your favor. I trust the defense enough that I'm not exactly too worried about the counterattack. It's obviously always a threat, but I'd be more worried about this Liverpool team in possession. Just make sure you keep the ball, and when you do, you're going to be able to have De Bruyne give some chances to... You're going to be able to have De Bruyne give some chances. Sterling's going to be making chances. Cancelo and Walker, they've been very good. I think if they keep the ball, they're going to be able to come away with some chances. And especially with this Liverpool defense not exactly being great right now. Next, really be clinical. When they get those chances, they're going to have to score. It might not be that bad because there's no crowd, but Raheem Sterling, he's been... he kind of freezes, I guess, when he comes up against Liverpool. Like, that seems to be like a mental block for him. You're going to really need him to be able to take his chances. If it's Ferran Torres up top, he's going to have to score. It's going to be tough for him. And if not Aguero, he's really going to have to play his game. And lastly, just keep the defensive strength that they've been having. I've been pretty impressed with the back line of Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Walker. Just keep it up. Keep playing well. Trust yourself. Don't let Salah, Mane, Jota get their chances. I think Man City have a good chance to come away with this win. So for Liverpool, I think you're going to have to look for this midfield to help them out defensively. Because Gomez, he's somebody that I like, but I think he's kind of similar to... I don't want to say he's similar to Varane. He's similar to the perception that Varane has, where when he's without like that really good defender beside him, he can really shrink. So I think that with Gomez and Nat Phillips or Reece Williams, whoever it ends up being back there, you're going to have Henderson and Wijnaldum really covering for this defense. Make sure they do their work. Then for offensively, they're going to have to be taking their chances. Mo Salah, he's been great this year. Mane, he's been great this year. Jota, he's been on an amazing start. It looks like it's going to be those three up top. They're going to get some chances. They need to make those chances, I should say, because it's the Man City defense that I've been pretty impressed by right now. But with how good they are, I think they'll be able to come up with some, and they need to put the ball in the back of the net. That's going to be tough with Ederson in there, but that's what they got to do. And lastly, this one's pretty unexpected, but Alisson, you're a world-class goalie. He's going to need to show it, because I feel like this Man City team is going to come up with some chances. You're probably going to have De Bruyne hitting some shots from outside the box. You're going to have Sterling with some chances. Ferran Torres is going to get some. Mars is going to get some shots off. Alisson's going to have to be on top of the game if Liverpool wants to come away with something, I think. So, for my prediction, I think that Man City are going to win this game. It's a very tough ask for them, playing against Liverpool. We know how much they're going to be pressed, but they're good in possession. This Liverpool defense isn't looking that good. I think Man City's going to be clinical enough to come away with the win. And lastly, we've got Arsenal against Aston Villa. And for Arsenal, I think the keys to the game, dominate the ball. I think this is a midfield that they can really take advantage of. With the Party in there, hopefully Ceballos, they're going to be able to really have a lot of the possession and just dominate the ball and create chances from that. Then mark Grealish out of the game because Jack Grealish is Aston Villa's main threat going forward. Make sure you're able to deal with him. Maybe keep Party on him. He operates off the left. Bellerin's going to have a great game. Just make sure Grealish is taken care of. And lastly, I really want to see their front three step up. Aubameyang hasn't been that great. He wasn't that great last month. Lacazette, he's been kind of inconsistent for Arsenal. And Willian, he's... I feel like whenever I start to like him, he plays bad. Whenever I start to really stop buying into him, he starts playing well. And right now I'm not too into him, so Willian's probably going to have a pretty nice game. And they're going to be going up against an Aston Villa defense I'm not exactly confident in, aside from Mings. So I think they'll be able to get some chances. Just step up, take those chances, convert, and hopefully they can come away with the win. So for Aston Villa, their defense has to be on their A game. This is an Arsenal team that'll threaten them. Ceballos, Party, they're going to be making chances. Aubameyang's always a threat. Lacazette, Willian, I mentioned all of them. Just Mings is going to have to be on his A game. Konsa's going to have to be ready to step up. Matty Cash and Target, they're going to have some tough games. Everybody's got to be ready. Next, going forward, Watkins and Grealish, I think it's up to them to really come up with goals. Grealish is going to have to be creative all game, and if Watkins gets a chance, he's going to have to take it. I mentioned last week that I haven't been that impressed with him ever since that Liverpool game. That's the only great game he's had this year. Just Watkins is going to have to step up. And lastly, I think they're going to get a time when they're going to have a long spell of possession. It's an Arsenal team that can really just switch off sometimes. I think Villa are probably going to have a good 10 minutes. I mentioned this with Brighton last week, but when you get that spell of possession, take advantage of it because I don't think it's going to happen again. So, overall, I think Arsenal's going to win. I've been liking them ever since they signed Party. I think they're going to be able to come away with the 3 points for this one. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Jeez, the Brighton-Burnley game starts in 15 minutes. We'll leave this up before that happens, and yeah, that's about all I've talked about this week. Got some fun matches. Sunday's going to be really fun, but yeah, that's about it. See ya.